Good morning, Holly Mount. I wanted to real quick drop you a video before our Zoom at 1 today, just so that everybody can get as much of their area ready as possible. So we have been doing a lot of experimenting here and we'll be showing you a lot of different things. But first thing I want to go over is how you need to start and have stuff ready for you guys. So depending on the kit, please go ahead and open it and read the instructions. Mainly because every kit, the dye is different. So this kit, they want you to wash the clothes. You can leave them wet or you can put them in the dryer and we can do them dry. This tie-dye kit wants you to wash your clothes or your fabric, and then it wants you to soak them in soda ash, which comes in the kit. If you don't have soda ash, you can use salt water. But with this dye, the dye is not going to stick very well without it. So make sure that you've read that and you've got your fabric already. Go ahead and open your kits up and get your stuff together. So as you can see, we've been using some of ours. We bought a bigger one and we've even got extras. You can certainly use those gloves that come with it. We don't, because they don't fit little kids very well. The couple of things I do want to go over that are just little tips that we've learned in the years and just in the weeks doing this to get ready. Using all of the same size rubber bands. I don't mean this way, but the thickness. So for instance, this is a great size rubber band. And it will produce, let me come back, it will produce this sort of non-blending, and it will do this. Those thin rubber bands leave nothing. So just as depends on what you want. If you want it to look like this, find those really thin rubber bands. If you want it to stand out and give you and this is just as an example, this is kind of the 4-leaf clover we'll be doing. I know I sent everybody a YouTube video on a 4-leaf clover. It's a lot of folding and a lot of folding and scrunching and stuff, and it ends up with a t-shirt being a very thick item to handle, and for small hands it's not easy. So we are going to do it this way, which is just a pinch up method. It's the same way we do our Mickeys. This is not one of my best Mickeys, I apologize, but we'll get it done today. The other thing I want to go over is your setup for dyeing. We use our sink. Why? Because it's stainless steel and the dye isn't going to stick to it. And it's a farm sink, so it's nice and deep. And if anybody splashes, it's not a big deal. However, and this is super important, if your parents or grandparents or wherever you're doing this today has a sink that is porcelain or stone or anything other than this, you cannot use it. This dye will soak in. So then you have to go to the whole find a towel that does not matter when you ruin it. You're going to wash it with the rest of your clothes, and you're probably going to have, you can see some purple. But who cares? Because this towel, or the 2 or 3 that you have, will be the towel that you always tie-dye in, or wash the dog with, or whatever, right? Not a big deal. We use a towel even in our sink. So what we do, after it's all folded and together and everything, is we put this towel down flat in our sink, and we do it on that. The reason that is because then the colors won't roll around. You know what happens in a sink? It beads, right? Well, if this was a color and that was a color, all of a sudden that color's in the wrong spot on your fabric. So put your towel in your sink. Now, I did see a tip on one that they used an old refrigerator grate. But if you have these, this is going to be okay too. Why? Again, it's stainless, and so the dye isn't going to stick. And when you wash it once after using, and then you put it in the dishwasher, you're safe again. The reason they did this was so that the dye would go straight down, and it cut the bleeding down a little bit. I'm going to be real honest. I like that bleed in our tie dyes. I like that. But anyway, so that's how we set up to do things. As I said, we did an awful lot of experiment, did lots of YouTube videos. This was the first try at folding a 4-leaf clover. You can see these are the clovers. So they had you fold it in thirds. No, fold it in quarters, and then fold it back and fold it back. And it ended up being about that thick before you could even scrunch it into a heart or a half a heart. I didn't get my point all the way to the center, which is why you have this. And yes, it would have been ovals together if I had done it right. But it's a lot of fabric. And we kind of think that this looks just as nice. As I said, I did this on purpose so that you could see what a different rubber band size would do. So that's what we're doing today. I'll show you how to do a Mickey that way. We did other stuff too, experimenting on how to fold. Like this one, the Mickey is here, and then we pulled the back out separate so that there's no circle on the back. It's what they call a backbone. How cool does that look, right? So lots to show you today, but I wanted you guys to go ahead and get as set up as you could, because as I said, we don't have a whole lot of time on these Zooms. So make sure you have read your directions for your dye, that it's all set and ready, that you have your area to dye in, whether that is your sink or you're going outside. Today is a lovely day. Take some, you still need the towels though, even if you're outside, because you don't want the dirt in your dye. So take some old towels out, set it outside. We can do it out there. Lots of areas that it's just not going to matter. And then if you're doing it in your grass, take your hose out. Hose that area down. It's really, it goes away quick. You'll be all right. So make sure you're set up. We will see you at 1. And if you have any questions, just email or text me. Can't wait to see everybody. Have a great morning.